when I bought the company, one of my first jobs was the Hyundai dealership. We had never built anything that complicated. Yeah, I know, right? You got that?
No.
Yeah.
All right, we are joined today by two very special guests, Josh Valle and Tommy Houchin with Houchin Construction, a business that's been around since 1962 in Southwest Florida.
Been around since Naples was incorporated, pretty much.
I mean, honestly, that is a long time. You're fourth generation, Tommy.
Yep. Yeah, fourth generation. My great-grandfather started it, and he rented a old Army barracks at the Naples airport, and that was the first office. And then eventually my grandfather, then my dad, and then I bought my dad out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember, was there any ever figure discussed with you of like what that cost to rent the barracks or anything like that?
No. I mean, and they've owned properties, like they used to have a property down in Royal Harbor, and like when Royal Harbor was just grass, there was like no docks, like nothing defined. And so like the running joke in our family is like, I wish we never sold any real estate,
Sure.
And then eventually my great-grandfather moved from the Army barracks and then bought a place in the industrial park on Pine Ridge.
Yeah.
And he was the first one when he bought the lot, so they let him name the street, and that's why there's Houchin Street on there. So you get all kinds of different people that, know the name, and then because it's a unique last name, like there's not a whole lot of Houchins, so they kind of put two and two together, ask the question. But
no, it punches, and it sounds exactly like it's spelled, which is helpful for a last name.
Well, see, most people say Houchin.
Houchin, yeah.
Oh, that's also.
We get that.
I like Houchin. You guys do booze? What?
Yeah.
Houchin Houchin. I mean, that could be a whole
So it's funny
thing.
you said that because and I just kind of roll with it, but
I just say couch.
Yeah, Houch
couch. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's your guys' podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So you're the president. I mean,
Yes. Yep.
You run the show here, but then we got the architect and business side. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Josh.
Yeah, so I wear a lot of hats, but director of pre-construction is the formal title. By license and trade, and for all intent and purpose, my background is in architecture. I am a licensed architect, but for the construction company, I really do all things on the front end of a project. So that's business development, that's client intake, permitting, design, kind of teeing up the contractor, the budget, and then at some point getting it to the construction team and doing what we actually do.
Yeah. I think it's great, and I think it's really unique, and maybe this is just my perspective, is having an architect in-house on top of all the other hats you wear.
Yeah.
But I know, is that correct in saying that a lot of these other builders in town maybe subcontract their architects out?
Yeah, I think most of them do.
Most of them, right? Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's very unique. When they get larger, like the design build type contractors, but at our volume, it's unique. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why Josh wears so many hats, because we're not dedicated to doing drawings. There's a lot of times where we don't do our own drawings.
Sure.
But and I always tell him, I'm like, I need Josh's brain. Like his knowledge when a client comes in and sits down with us, he looks at things differently than I do. Like I understand construction, I understand all those things, but from a code perspective, from a development perspective, he's way more in tune with that, and way more in tune with that than any other contractor would be. Because I mean, and it's crazy, like, from an outsider's perspective, but if you start like looking at a paper copy of like all the code books that we have, I mean, it would be a stack like from here to like maybe the ceiling.
Wow.
So it's all of the Muni code or the land development code in Collier County, the LDC, which is huge. Then you got the Florida Building Code, Florida Fire Prevention Code.
Yeah, which is 8 or 9 books. In and of itself.
NFPA, like anyhow. So that's a very like construction as far as stacking blocks and putting things together. I mean, to me is fairly straightforward, but kind of going through all that code stuff and understanding what you can do is it's a lot.
So
especially
important.
In Collier County and Lee County. I mean, both adjacent counties are tough.
I mean, fortunately, my whole career has been in Collier, so I don't have that, preconceived notion of how difficult or easy it is, but it's just all I've ever known.
Right.
But it's hugely important to me to be connected to the construction side from an architect's perspective, and I think it's equally as important for Tommy to have that connection as well.
Yeah.
So we find it to be an asset. We just want to be our clients' solution for their problem in whatever capacity that means, and having the expertise to do so is
helpful.
helpful.
Right?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. And you guys are both from, I know you're from Naples, and
Yes.
you're from this area, Southwest Florida, Cape Coral,
Yeah,
Fort
Cape Coral.
Myers.
Yep, right.
And you guys both went, I'm sorry to say this, everybody.
Go Gators.
We got two
They both
gators
went
in the
to
house.
Florida. And did you meet there? And no.
No, but I'll take the compliment because Josh is way younger than I am.
But you guys started, I know you took over president like 2013.
Yep.
And then you came on 2015. So Jay made the point earlier because he was like, I wonder if they.
There was a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
He's much younger than you?
Yeah.
Great.
No, thanks.
Teasing Josh.
No, it's a
I'll
very
take it.
different
Yeah.
path.
Josh, you do wear a lot of hats. Huh? Jesus, it's getting to you. No.
Well, we're 9 years apart, just for context. But as far as at UF goes, I don't know what our gap was there. I guess probably the same.
Well, I
9
graduated
years.
05.
And yeah, I graduated 13 and 15. So,
Okay.
but for me, it was just a very different path to get there. But ultimately, I met Tommy's dad, Bob, through working for an architect that I first started with, kind of my mentor. And that individual did a lot of work for Tommy's dad and for Houchin at the time. So that's how I met him, met the family. And I probably in that time, that was like 06-ish. Probably at that time, Tommy was at UF. So we kind of traded places.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were just curious because they're both
Yeah.
Gators.
Yeah, same college, with at UF, but different times.
Yeah.
Yeah. UF's got a really good building construction program.
Really?
Yeah. And so there's a lot of people from the area that went to UF for that. It's a very, you always have like business degrees, you have, all these other, degrees, but like not a lot of schools specialize in building construction. It's kind of a niche market, if you will.
Right.
But UF has a very strong school in that. So I was actually thinking I was going to go to UCF. I didn't get into anywhere. Like I was terrible at school. It was never an easy thing for me. So I went to community college at Valencia and then went and did my 2 years of prereq. And my dad calls me. I was going to go for a business degree. And he calls me and he's like, you know what? You need to go into UF. And I'm like, UF? Like I couldn't even get into UCF. Like I got into no colleges. Like
Sure.
And so I was like, all right, give it a shot. And so then because the prereqs were so unique, I wouldn't have got in anyhow, but I had to go to community college up there, Santa Fe,
Yeah.
and take the required prereqs. And then I went, I don't know, I think I applied like 2 or 3 times and finally got in my third. So
And look at you now.
Yeah,
For
right.
anyone who
Yeah.
we get
So,
it.
yeah. But
Everyone has one path.
it's but Josh,
He got in on the first try.
yeah, he just I think
Well, the trick is you go to an architecture school.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
was
do
like,
that.
if
Not
you're
as
an
much demand.
architect-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
but
that's-
it's
Pretty high attrition rate,
but nowadays, man, with these kids, like the qualifications getting UF is all these schools
Yeah,
is
it's
amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
I know Josh has little ones. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have kids. Yeah, my daughter just turned 11, and my son's 7.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
And they're all, it's going to be maybe a fifth generation.
I
We'll
don't
see.
know. Yeah. My dad always told me growing up, he's like, the last thing you want to do is get in construction. So I don't know if that was reverse psychology and it actually worked,
Yeah.
but he's like, you should be an attorney. But I don't know, you never know with your kids. But I do have this thing where it's like, because I was kind of, let's say, given the opportunity,
Sure.
like, do they need the opportunity? It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to have 4 generations in one company in general. But
in Naples, nonetheless. I
Right.
don't know many others. I've heard quite a few, like, second, third generation. But fourth is, like, big time.
yeah.
Like 60s. And you guys went to UF, but then you came. This has been home. Otherwise, nowhere else other than Gainesville in Southwest Florida, right?
No.
So you also have, your roots here, but your whole lives.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
do you agree with that statement as far as your dad saying you don't want to get into construction, or have you enjoyed it?
It just, when I started out as a kid, it just gets so ingrained in you. Like, when you live in a family business, like it's just all around you, just one generation. Then you have 2 with my grandfather and my great grandfather. So, it just, it just was me,
Yeah.
one way or another. But I understand and appreciate what my dad was saying too, because like you don't want to feel like your kids have any other opportunities, so you want them to, kind of be whatever they want to be. But I'm glad, I'm where I'm at. I, I couldn't see myself doing anything much differently.
Yeah. I wonder if your great grandfather, if he was still alive and saw what Naples is now, would he ever think that this company he started in 1962 would have, the demand that you guys see, that we see as a community, but nonetheless in construction, which we'll get into here in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, was he like a real visionary? I mean, they came from Ohio, from Bellefontaine, Ohio, and they were union workers steel, they were steel erectors, which is kind of why predominantly we started out with commercial. But, I don't know. I couldn't even expect it growing expect it growing up.
Yeah, even what we've seen.
Same.
Yeah.
I remember traveling, and you probably remember as well, like, although I'm a lot older than you, but like we would travel somewhere and they would say, "Hey, where are you from?" And I'd be like, "Naples." And I instantly knew that they wouldn't know because no one did where it was. And I would say, "You know where Miami is? Go across the
directly
state."
west. I just said the same thing.
It's because you couldn't even say like Fort Myers or what,
No.
it was like, they're going to know Miami and maybe Tampa,
Yeah, maybe Key West or something.
Yeah,
It's just
Key
like,
West
how do I explain
or-
it from there?
Right.
It's just like,
Yeah,
it's going to take
yeah.
more words.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's same. And if anyone did know, as I was in New York and California, and I'd be like, yeah, your grandparents probably have a home there. Like, I grew up where people go to die, but it's not that way anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the other stigma is you just got South Florida in general, right? Which
Yes.
is like Miami, which
Right.
is like,
Right.
especially growing up in Southwest Florida, it was not
No.
Miami.
No.
It was very
And we
different.
pray it's never Miami.
But now when you travel, like, you tell them Naples, and what do they say?
Oh, beautiful there.
Yeah, it's either
Wow.
that or like, "Are you rich?"
Right.
Right,
Like,
Yeah.
right. Are
it's
you
like, wow, this has changed in 20 years, or
Yeah.
25 years. Like the perception, you didn't even know where it was, and now you've got.
And now you have this stereotype or this expectation. That's really nice if someone asks, "Are you rich?" Because I
Right.
feel like all the headlines say, and the homes you guys build and renovate, there is a ton of wealth here.
Yes.
But it's not everybody. Like we,
No.
some of us have to, we work. And we
Yeah,
do,
sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of what you build,
Let's talk about it.
let's talk about it.
Cool.
You guys just did, I know a ton of residential, which I want to touch on, but most recently, and some of our guests that we've had on have a spot in this building, NH2 Center,
Yeah, here in Bonita. Yeah.
here in Bonita.
Yep. Yeah, super cool. So that was a project that started kind of as an investment idea for a past client
Okay.
who lives in this area. I think reached out to Tommy, and he'll probably know that end of it better. But long story short, we were able to kind of put together a land purchase and design a building that we felt was flexible, and we wanted to do something that looked nice and could really stand the test of time since it was a family investment. They'll probably hold it for a while. So something that was could sustain that and sustain some growth in Bonita. So it's like 52,000 square feet, some change, 21 units in total. It's all tilt wall construction, which is really cool to watch.
Yeah,
Kinda-
it's super fun to build too.
Explain that a little bit. Tilt wall.
Yeah.
So we end up pouring the slab, and you end up casting the walls on the slab as kind of flat, like cards, if you will, and then you stand them up like a house of cards, and then build the roof within that perimeter. So at the end of the day, you've got like 9 inches of solid concrete for your exterior walls, which is cool.
And it was quick.
And that's the advantage, right? So the advantage is the volume goes up very quickly.
Yeah.
Once you get your walls poured, and then the secondary advantage is it from a finishing perspective, you don't have stucco, so it's a little quicker on the back end as well.
Well, if I'm driving to the gym, not every day, but when I can get there, I saw it. I saw it one day. It was not there, and the next day, that's what it felt like driving by.
Yeah.
Because that's my route, and even I think Robbie knew the term tilt wall, and I was like, but it was seriously so fast.
It's one of the coolest things in construction to see, any kind of precast, right? Or,
Yeah.
you know, anything that's done ahead of time to watch it get erected, because it has that perception of like,
It's like that day.
Ta-da!
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In comparison to,
yeah, to stacking blocks, right? It's
Well,
just,
I'm inquisitive of that because, like I said, we both actually had that same route to the gym, and it felt like for a long time, I got down here in 2019, and for a long time it was like dirt piles. We're moving dirt piles for a bit, and then all of a sudden, yeah, boom, now it's a building. And so like, what's that process like of like, okay, we got the land now, and we got to develop this land properly, because you guys had it for a good chunk of time before any kind of concrete was poured, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the permitting process. So like entitlements, permitting process. And really the key to construction and making it go quick is like you have all of your ducks in a row, if you will. But there's a, and then you got the design, right? So you have to sit down and analyze like, okay, especially when you do projects like the NH2 Center. I mean, we're not developing it per se for a special, like our business or like
Right.
Sure.
Houchin Construction, so you know what you want. Like you've got to
there's
look
no
at
end
it.
use in mind.
There's no
Right.
end use in mind. And the beauty of that center is it's super flexible, and we wanted that. We wanted it to have where we had all different types of businesses, because the zoning there is so wide open, which is cool.
Go Bonita.
So you sit down really with the survey and you're looking at this, and then from a developer standpoint, you need to look at financial returns, right? So that equates to how much square footage can I put on it. And then you could put more square footage, but then you start pigeonholing yourself with access for trucks in the back and things like that. And then you look at it from the architectural standpoint and you want it to look good. So you sit there and you kind of play with all these, and then there's the cost component, right? Which is what makes us unique, because we can design with a budget in mind, because we can do both sides.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to get through that process, and then you go into permitting. And just with all the other agencies and stuff, it takes time, and you get some comments back and got to, massage them and then go,
Yeah.
So
Do you, as you're building it out or as you have the idea, do you have tenants in mind? I know that's on the commercial broker side of sales and leasing, but do you interview people on the street? I mean, like, what's your process in your mindset?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So, obviously we have IPC, which is our real estate team.
Yep.
And I've literally Christine McManus now. I consider her Christine Gonering, but she lived across the street from me,
I love her.
when we were growing
She's
up.
awesome.
She's great. And so, you kind of get some like input, but the real thing that you try to do is just keep things super flexible. So the interesting part with that, and you guys probably remember, like, you look at what's surrounding you, and so we were thinking at the time, because the pickleball place was going to be
yeah.
developed just
Right.
north of us.
Right.
In the
You know,
storage unit.
Yeah, and
Wow,
then the
now
storage
it's a
unit
right?
stayed the same, but pickleball was actually that
Oh,
long strip.
That's
Yeah,
right.
just to
Right.
the north of us. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were all excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it in an episode. With
It was
Lance back
definitely
in
an
the day.
episode at one point, yeah.
Yeah, and at one point, I mean, it kind of, it did influence us, right? Because
Of
we're trying to
course.
respond to, okay, maybe there's going to be physical therapy or something
Yes,
like retail
all of
or
that.
food.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the building, we make it, big enough to kind of look like it's a
Sure.
part of the other thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. So once that shifted gears.
Yeah, so you just, then again, it's flexibility. And so we have now in there, the school's still a big driving factor for us as far as traffic. And so some of the tenants on there are, I feel like USA Ninja. I don't know if you're familiar
Coming
with
soon,
them.
coming
Yeah, but they're
soon. I
coming
can't
soon.
wait.
I've seen an ad they put out recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool, it's like, what do they call it? American Ninja Warrior, for like
Yeah.
kid type things, like obstacle course and,
Yeah.
and training.
Fabulous.
Super cool.
Then you've got Lover Boy. Then you've got Corner to Corner Bridge Wellness,
Yep.
CID, which is an amazing interior design company. And they're global. It's insane.
Wow.
And then we've got another one we can't say. We've been asked not to say, but
Yeah.
they're a manufacturer. And very organic product, family owned. We're super excited. They've got like 10,000 feet in there.
Wow.
Wow.
And then, which it'll be cool when it all comes together. I think it very well meshes with Bonita, like family, organic,
Totally.
local. I think they're going to do some beauty care product type of stuff, sunscreen, like a really
Oh my
advanced sunscreen type of thing.
So you can
It's going to
go
be
shopping,
exciting.
Get your workout, drop your kids at Ninja, do
And get
bridge
coffee.
Pilates with Nora, get a coffee with
Yeah.
Loverboys.
You'll never need to leave it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that boxing gym,
Mm-hmm.
I saw it this morning, and I was like, I want to hit a bag.
Yeah, you should.
I'm not an angry person,
Yeah.
but sometimes I just want to hit a bag.
Yeah, and he's got great exposure with that quarter unit.
Seriously,
which is
in the
super
glass.
cool space.
What
yeah.
a cool design to see in.
Yep.
In these kind of more rugged. I mean, there's a lot of boxing gyms. You end up driving through Industrial Park. I mean,
Right.
they would put them in the crates
Yep.
and stuff. And even on TV, that's usually what it is. But to have this kind of like, oh, what's that?
And that's
You
what
know?
was so cool about that, the development rights that property had, is from a zoning perspective, because it can be so flexible. And we designed it with that courtyard, so even if we do have these more industrial type uses that need an overhead door, that their kind of mess is contained.
Yeah, tell us
okay.
about the courtyard. For
Yeah.
those who haven't been to the building or seen
Yeah.
it.
So essentially, the building's got 4 fronts. I mean, we have a facade, a storefront on every corner of the building or every side of the building, and there's kind of a center drive aisle along the west side that opens up to a courtyard that gives access to the rear of all but 2 of the units, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there there's a second floor, isn't there?
No,
No.
it's just very tall.
So it's deceiving. Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to, get back. Well, one thing I got to mention is aquatic spas too. That's another tenant that we have here that
Say it
does
again?
aquatic spas.
Okay.
I did see
The-
their truck out there.
Yeah, he's a very good guy. Relocated from Jacksonville, had a pretty successful business up there doing it. So the intention of the center is for us. We've been very selective with trying to find, tenants that work good together. So we still are looking for. I want more of a restaurant. So I was thinking like, and preferably a local one that maybe it's dinner only, maybe it's lunch only or something. But when the center's full, there'll be a lot of people there. But going back to your original question, so the reason it's so tall is, and I won't mention any names, but the other thing we're looking for and thought would be a brewery. And so we made...
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I know. So like,
So that north and south volume that's so tall, probably
sure.
the reason why you asked about the second story is because it's
Yes.
made for
Yeah.
very large tanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
like
Maybe a
brewers...
trampoline?
Yeah, trampoline, like kids.
I mean, like this gym aspect or this,
Yeah.
you have
I mean,
height.
anybody that needs a lot of volume, really. But initially,
Sure.
it was contemplated as a brewery.
Yeah, okay.
But anybody that needs that kind of volume, it's super
Okay.
flexible. Which is kind of the
Okay,
point.
well,
Yeah, we would, golf simulators, like a place
Okay.
that can do golf simulators and, just someone that, and it's got no interior columns. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty
Wow.
much, it spans 70 feet.
Is
So
that difficult to do from a construction perspective, especially with these concrete walls?
Well, in some ways, that probably is to your advantage to have that kind of durability on the perimeter. But the big thing with it is just you have to have the volume in your parapet to have a clear volume below the roof structure that you want, right? So a lot of these tenants, particularly national tenants, they'll want very high ceilings, clear spaces. So from a developer's perspective, in keeping things flexible, we try to just give as much volume as we can.
yeah.
I think it's genius because how often are these older, which I love, old Naples, old Collier, I love it all, but oftentimes that's the feedback is like these low ceilings. Even when you're shopping,
Yes.
you feel, whatever it is, especially restaurants, coffee shops. I mean, we were just talking about Kunjani, which I love that coffee shop. It used to be a house though,
Right.
and built in the 60s.
Right.
And I think, between the smells that happen when you brew coffee and make, biscuits, where's that ventilation? It's all that stuff. Something long term, you put this on your, not your bio, but your intake of like, how do we think long term as far as all the growth that we're seeing in Southwest Florida in many different ways. But I think of high volume, high ceiling, like that there's no other way to do it, right?
Right. Yeah. And at this point, it's probably a much longer and different conversation, but at this point, the investment that people are putting into these developments you have to make sure that they can survive kind of the test of time and live that first, second, and third life, because they're just, number one, they're going to be around that long. I mean, it's concrete, like we talked about.
Yeah.
But number two, as long as, there's a use for it or it's flexible enough, I think it can, have a few lives.
Yeah. I think that's such a part of Bonita that I really love. And I've said this when we, interviewed Zach, like, yes, this old Bonita, old 41, downtown Bonita, and now it's stretching north. Kind of, I think eventually it's going to be all of old 41.
I hope so. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have the school, as you mentioned.
Yep.
You have, it's pedestrian friendly, big sidewalks, which is huge. I mean, growing up in Naples, even downtown, not Fifth, but now the Naples Design District, I mean, that curb is really tight. You can, walking from, let's call, where the Dairy Queen was down to the hospital.
Right.
Versus in this downtown area, I feel like there's quite a bit more sidewalk and median. I just feel a little safer walking or running, and that's my own opinion. But I think that, lends itself to development here.
Yeah, no, I think, and it's, it's exciting with everything that's happening downtown. I mean, it's going to happen, and it's happening, and it's who has enough vision to really see what it's going to look like in 10 years.
Yeah.
We were kind of discussing, like, did my great grandfather, if he was alive today, could he imagine? No. And
the answer is no.
The
Otherwise,
answer
he would have bought a few more properties.
Yeah. I mean, but just close your eyes and imagine what Bonita is going to be in 20 years.
I got great visions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be special. And to your point, I think it's all connected. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid, maybe you guys do as well, but when you were on 41 heading north of even Pine Ridge on 41, it was like no man's land.
Yeah. Like that was North Naples.
Well, that was North Naples, and then it was all just woods.
Yeah.
And I remember Dad, I don't remember the year, but we built all the Lighting First stores, and that was one off of 41, and they had their first store on the East Trail that Dad built, and they wanted a northern location, and they went all the way up there, and it was like, where are they going? And now it's like it's their best store.
Yeah.
Play the
Shout
long
out
game.
to the Adams.
Yeah, the Adams brothers.
Steve and Greg.
They're amazing.
Steve's a client of mine, a friend of mine. Greg's in my Rotary Club. You're in a Rotary Club as well.
Yeah.
They're awesome. The whole family, their
they're
mom.
Great. And, that's a multi-generation. So my dad worked with their dad, and then I work
cool.
with the sons.
That's
Greg.
awesome.
2 snaps for the Adams.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been meaning to have them on. We're almost, once Steve's house closes, should be soon, we're going to have them on as like a celebratory. We're done.
We did.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
We just need to talk somebody into doing that pool.
I know. Oh my gosh, that's right.
I always joke with Steve about that.
Well, when he sent me those, I was like, this doesn't look like, this looks legit.
Yeah,
like
it's so
real.
funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, it was just a quick thing. I was joking around. He mentioned to Tommy in passing that he wanted to do a pool, or in a guest house or something. And I pulled up the site plan and just found a really cool pool with a lazy river and just snapped some things together.
This is on the acreage property I have
as
on
a concept
that will
to try to sell him an idea, and also joking, with a friend.
And he went forward with it, or what's?
No, he bought a new house.
He bought a new house, but we're selling his, and oftentimes people will ask, there's so much space. It's a big lot. I'm like, well, here's what you could do with it.
Yeah.
I'll show them the guest house
the lazy
plan.
river plan.
I'll show them the lazy river, but it's helpful. I mean, because the measurements are.
Yeah, and to
accurate.
go back to what we do, I mean that's part of it. So the metal building that's out back, just to go on a tangent, Tommy did.
Did you guys?
Yeah.
You did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I should know that because I have all the documents that I read. I just am putting it together right now.
Yeah.
But we always intended, or Tommy did back then. I wasn't involved, but he always intended for there to be a guest house.
Yes.
So it was really just
So that's
building
why the
on
driveway looks like that,
Right.
And
yeah. So
How
we're always looking
funny.
ahead, trying to.
Well, and I even said, I was like, there's driveways. So if you have an RV, you have plenty of room to back it out. But when I would show it, I'd say, yes, there's plenty of space for this, that, the other. And I was like, you won't believe it, but this guest house has another garage. Because there's so much garage at that house.
Oh yeah.
The garage in the main house is under air. So it's kind of, this is a full circle.
Yeah.
Keep our fingers crossed. By the time this episode airs, we're going to be closed.
Yeah.
Good.
It'll close.
It's never a thing until it's a thing.
It's a great property.
It is.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
an
congrats
awesome
to
house.
Steve and the new buyer. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That whole
Pop
the
the
whole
champagne.
Adams family.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys have obviously NH2 Center. Sharon's Corner is in East Naples,
Yeah.
near Lely.
Right. Yeah. Right across almost on Habitat.
Okay, and this is a similar, maybe not the zoning, but I'd like to hear 23,000 square feet. Did I read that right?
Yeah. That's pretty close. Divided into 8 suites with the kind of primary one at like 9,000 square feet is a salon complex.
Okay.
So backing up a little bit, the client was a previous client. We built an industrial building for him in our park near the airport.
Okay.
And he
Tilt wall.
Tilt wall as well. Yeah.
Was their name Sharon?
No.
Okay, we'll
no.
get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
get there.
curious on the name. Yeah.
It's the wife's name, but
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Even better.
But anyways, so he came to us and he found this piece of land. This was before Home Depot was looking at the piece next door, or the several pieces next door. So he came to us and was like, "Hey, I have 3 acres. Like, what can we do?" So we just, did a few space planning things and obviously working with all of the development standards. It's a undeveloped lot on the East Trail, probably 4 to 5 feet low relative to the road in terms of where the grade is. So we had
Yeah.
to bring in a lot of dirt. Obviously,
Like
it's
how
undeveloped,
much?
so you have to retain some preserve. So a lot of just restraints. But we came up with an idea that gave him a purpose for the salon suites, which he wanted to do for the kids to operate. And then there's about 7 other suites that have, again, super flexible. We have a drive-through. We've got a corner unit that's contemplated for a restaurant, and then a few like plus or minus 2,000 square foot suites that can be, anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's a super sharp building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're real happy about the look of it, and happy for the client because it'll stand out from a look perspective. It's
It
nice.
sounds like I need to go on the main GPS. Sometimes when I'm back there, which is a little rare these days, that I have some cut throughs. Like in that little corner, I don't think I've seen it. What? It's
So what's
near
the-
Lely.
what's the road,
it's
Tommy,
on
that-
41.
Is it Barefoot Williams?
Habitat.
But what cuts right
yeah.
before us? It's the racetrack. Is that Barefoot Williams?
Oh man,
Yes.
you're close. Yeah.
So
it.
that kind of pie shape,
Yep.
we're right there on Habitat. But Habitat doesn't go all the way through to
Okay.
Barefoot Williams. It's a kind of a dead end at a little neighborhood.
You'll see, like, I don't know when the last time, but they're building a huge Home Depot.
Yeah.
And we're right next to it.
Okay. It's near Artesia, the residential area. I think it's back there
Probably,
behind.
like-
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that area clearly has a demand for this kind of development. But again, how did that, I know your client brought that to you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see for that pocket? If there's any land left.
Yeah, I mean, like probably everything in Collier County, like we should have all bought it, 6-7 years ago.
Or
But
longer.
it's
Or
we should have
longer.
been
Or
buying
longer.
stuff in high school.
2019.
If
Yeah.
only.
yeah.
Yeah, what were you
Tooth
guys
fairy-
doing?
My tooth
Yeah.
fairy money from middle or elementary wasn't enough.
Yeah,
I
we
guess.
could have been way more forward thinking.
Yeah.
But just it's the continuation of the downtown, right? That expansion east. Obviously all the stuff that's happening downtown, they're continuing to push the envelope. Going all the way to Bayshore now, pretty easily at this point.
Yeah.
And then everything that's happening down, near Treviso and the other things on the East Trail with Lamborghini, and there's a new auto vault going up there.
Yeah. It's just.
It's just active.
Yeah, it's cool. And I was so surprised at how much traction we got. Like, we have people calling the office and what's that? And you would think we'd had that on multiple projects, but this one in particular got a lot of interest.
And
Really?
early on too. Like the
Yes.
first tree
guys
that
put
was
up a
fell,
sign.
they were like, "What's
Yeah.
going on?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was more like inquisitive. What's that going to be? Not, you think you get calls from somebody about your job site. It's like, all right, what did we leave out on the
Right.
street, or what dust,
There's
or
a
this?
water bottle.
Yeah, who
Yeah,
broke what?
there's,
Yeah.
it's
Noise,
noisy,
yeah.
You guys get that a lot?
They
Collier County?
they do a pretty good job of filtering it,
Yeah.
at the front desk. So maybe I doubt it. Honestly,
No,
I
it
don't.
doesn't
I
get
don't-
to you guys very much.
Yeah,
But it's always something in the back of your mind. Like you want to be, you don't want to be that builder.
100%.
No.
Right.
And you
It's a
have
bad
someone
reputation,
point
yeah.
a finger,
Yeah.
but they find ways to point fingers.
Well, I was gonna say next door app must be lit up sometimes.
Well,
Yeah.
And I always say, like, we're gonna be an inconvenience. We just try to be the least that we can,
the
because you're
nature
not
of
gonna
it.
be able.
Yeah.
You know, you're tearing down things, you're building things. It's inherently noisy and dusty, but we don't need to be slobs. You
Right.
know, we need to
Right.
be respectful. It's just common courtesy. But it's if somebody's building a house next to yours,
Yes.
99, maybe 100% of people would say they wish they wouldn't, you know, because
Right.
it is,
Sure.
it's,
It's an inconvenience to them.
inconvenience.
It's an
and
inconvenience,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah.
but pain is progress, you know? I mean,
Right.
by the
Right.
time it's done, then you're like, oh, great, we got someplace to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Get your hair
thanks for
done.
making my property go up by that much more.
100%.
Right.
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 Yeah.
So
that's a
we've
big
touched
one.
on 2 buildings that you can
Yep.
see with these awesome tilt wall construction and people talking about them. There's a lot that you guys do that we will never see as a citizen in Collier County just driving around, or Lee County in this case. What about the residential side of things? You guys,
The secret side.
the secret
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen your magazine.
No, yeah. I
It's
mean,
pretty good.
On the website too. I was
Beautiful. And and the website.
the residential side of things is something that was really pushed by Tommy, you know, when he took over the company. I think generations before him, you know, maybe did a few here and there, but never really focused on residential. Early on, we got an opportunity to do a house in Royal Harbor for a commercial client who at the time we hired studio AD architect Albert Dambros. And at that time I worked for Albert.
Okay.
So just to kind of bring
Yeah.
everything full circle. And kind of one thing led to another. That home turned into another home in Royal Harbor, kind of the same team. And, you know, essentially this kind of residential division was born, doing these ground up, you know, homes
this is
in,
like
in
10
Royal
year-
Harbor.
10
2012?
AJ's
13?
house, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right as you were taking over.
Yeah, right. Yep. And,
Gotcha.
you know, and not to pick scabs at my dad or my, you know, grandfather or great grandfather, but what really transpired is these houses are small commercial projects now.
Yeah.
You know, this is not
Ultimately.
You heard it here
this is
first.
not a 1,500 square foot like
Yeah.
cookie cutter thing. These are piling supported structures with heavy rebar, heavy concrete. And I thought to myself, honestly, no offense, but I kind of felt like the residential market was a little bit of like the wild, wild west. You know, they were like winging it and like coming
Still.
up through a commercial background. You didn't get away with all of these things. You know, it was very regulated. It was very either through the design professional,
Right.
engineer, you know, all of that stuff. You didn't have the liberty to be like, yeah, I think that's good enough. That'll work. You know, move on.
They didn't
Like,
have Irma or Ian yet.
that. Well,
Fabulous point. On
Yeah.
top of that, yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't have these. Yeah, now you look.
well, and then the standards of what people expect, right, has changed. Like you
Yeah.
look at all the low voltage stuff, which is hugely complicated. I mean, you have these home automation systems, you have this hurricane protection, you know, with really it was driven by Andrew, kind
and
of started
the
that.
finishes.
And the finishes, you know, you were importing things from all different parts of the world. And it's not like there's a playbook that says, hey, if you're going to use this stone from Egypt, like you can do X, Y, Z. Like you've got to take your knowledge of what you've done similarly and make an educated, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say guess, but make an educated hypothesis of how to do it and how it will last and work the best.
Right, and since Naples has become even more
It's in,
popular, it's on the map now. Nobody's
yeah.
doesn't know where it is. We don't have to refer to Miami anymore, right?
No.
So I
Yeah.
imagine, and I see it, but you guys probably in a very small way compared to you, like the budget of and the expectations of these, you know, consumers and people who hire you is very, very, very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to, I mean, it's like when the money, follow the money. Like
Well,
we got to,
And it's
you
not
gotta
just
do
that.
it.
I also feel like it's almost a cultural thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
like everybody's expectation. I mean, look at all the cars now. Even the most base model car is very, very, very well equipped by standards of 20 years ago. You know, so everybody's expectation for the quality of things is higher, and at this high end market, it's even more so.
Yeah.
And to protect those elements, waterproofing, windows, AC, humidity control, lighting, all of that stuff. These homes, they become more complicated than commercial in many ways.
Way more. And the other part, and this is kind of why I thought of residential, is for one, I if you've got the right client, like, it's fun, right? At the end of the day, like, you're creating something that they, it's so personal,
Yeah, it's an
which is
extension
weird.
of
It
them.
can get, yes,
Yeah.
like on commercial, it's usually financial. It's an ROI.
It's a transactional.
It's a,
Sure.
yeah, it's a transactional. Like, I always tell everybody, it's like we're getting down to the level where they're picking the color of their flapper on their toilet. That's the level of detail you get into. In commercial, it's just like they don't even care what toilets. Like, does it work?
Yeah.
Is it cheap or whatever?
Right.
Like, we're good.
Yeah.
That's
But-
crazy. I have an anecdote. I just bought one on Amazon yesterday, and I picked a different color because I
Yeah.
was like, well, broke. I might as well get a different
That's-
Yeah, like
We've done hand carved ones that are so heavy
Oh yeah.
it tripped the toilet.
yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So like these
Out of
are the-
Egyptian marble?
these
Well, it wasn't. Well, it was kind of
was
gold
rose
plated.
quartz, right?
Yeah, it was rose
Get
quartz,
out.
a semi-precious stone. Yeah.
but it's so heavy that we had to engineer a solution to keep it from tripping.
Yeah.
So like this is the
How to
stuff
be
that
balanced properly.
yeah. So this is
Wow.
the stuff as far as there not being a manual, like
Right.
We've done, so that particular client wanted gold plated parts of her cabinet. So it was the first time I've ever experienced gold leafing something. Where it's literally gold, and they like put glue on it and put this very, very thin gold leaf and then put clear coat over it. I mean, it was amazingly gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah.
I
it was
think I have
crazy.
a necklace that looks like that, let alone a full kitchen cabinet.
Well, yeah,
Coated
and it
in
was,
gold. Yeah.
but anyhow, and the other thing I was going to mention too is it's the way that these homes are constructed, the expectation, as Josh mentioned, of the client. But the other thing is it's the level of service,
Sure.
right? So we've always said in commercial, is our best client is one that values their time enough to let us handle it, rather than because at what they do, they value their time or they make more money with their time than trying to oversee somebody, hire the cheapest guy and oversee them and deal with all these problems. Our clients they're not those people. And it's the same way with residential. But their level of service, these are people that generally, no offense, but they're not staying at the Hampton Inn. They're staying at the Four Seasons. And there's nothing wrong with either one of them, but you have to understand that that's what they're used to getting,
Right.
and
They're
it's hard
feeding
for
our
people.
economy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I want
Right.
to bitch and moan about it all day long, right?
Yeah.
I want to find every reason not to or be envious of the people
Yeah.
that they have so much money, they don't even have enough time to spend it.
The comment
End of the
section's
day.
going to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But they're feeding our economy.
and there's
We're able to do this.
Yeah,
because
and hopefully
of-
they tip you at your serving job, honestly.
Yeah.
and
well,
they better.
and and I get it, but most of ours, probably all of them, are very good people.
Yeah.
Like we have, not to mention any names, but two of them, Rumrow and the partner at NH2. Like
Right.
if they would pull up, you would
never know.
Never
you
know.
never know.
Sure.
It's the best.
He's like,
Oh my goodness.
like his dream.
He was
cars,
using the portalet when we were renovating his home.
Yeah.
Great.
And we had a bathroom
Yeah.
Ready
for him to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's using the portalet. And it's like
One of his dream cars, and that he drives the most, is a white minivan. I mean,
Incredible.
But they're just so not everybody, because they have money, is
No,
we have no experience with that, really, quite frankly.
I mean, I
know.
think that's the charm. And we interviewed someone at the top of the year, not to name any names,
Ooh, controversy.
that I feel like, I guess my point is, I feel like Naples and Southwest Florida, our community, for the most part, if not 95%, wealth, normal wealth, whatever the level, the class, everyone's that way. Like a lot of good people, grounded,
Extremely
respectful, kind. Nobody cares to flash. I mean, their flex is that they have a toilet lever that you're never
Right.
going to see that's
Yeah.
made out
Yeah.
of,
And the
whatever
folks that
you-
are being flashy aren't at that level. It's
No, and they also don't find their home in Naples. Like they just don't feel
Right.
that these are
Yeah,
their
they're not
people, so
attracted
they
to
don't.
this, yeah.
That's what we need to. That's my biggest priority. Like, how do we keep that
And you know,
forever?
growing up, and you probably remember, but like the beauty of Naples is it was always quiet money. You know, it never. It's changing. Don't get me
It is
wrong, and I'm
definitely
not
changing.
debating that it isn't. But the cool part about it is you could be sitting at a table and you didn't know if there was two guys both dressed the same, whether one was a multimillionaire and one was living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
It never was the glitz and glam and, you know, all of these things. Is it changing? Sure. But there's still that
Yeah.
quiet money, respectful people, self-made, you know, that are great, you know?
Yeah.
I think people just the residents here and growing up here, like, you just don't care because it's around and it's hidden or it's not. Nobody's looking for it anymore. They just like,
I just want my own little slice of paradise.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like growing up around it as well. I mean, we never, you know, cared or even knew, right?
We
Like,
didn't know. That's
it's
just it. Yeah.
Just like, hey, our friend Johnny, he's got like a cool boat, but like
Yeah.
you didn't really understand.
Right. And he's
You
coming
know,
over for
wow.
dinner. Like,
Yeah.
it was just all in the same. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
just different. And, you know, I think for me, especially being on the architecture side of things, I mean, you have to have these individuals willing to do this kind of work to do something cool. And that is
Right.
for me what makes it really, really pretty interesting. And even on the commercial side, you know, what we're able to do, it's, you know, unique. They're not constraining us to, you know, doing the most plain thing
Yeah.
that we can,
Yeah.
which is
And-
cool.
So I look at my life, right? Like, you know, the company and like, you know, I was very fortunate to grow up in it, but it's those people who have really at the end of the day given me an opportunity. Like when I bought the company, one of my first jobs was the Hyundai dealership. We had never built anything
thanks
that
for taking over King
complicated.
Richards.
Yeah, I know, right? You got
Oh,
that?
no.
Yeah, that was me.
You got to go back and watch Natalie's
This is a
video.
full
She
circle moment.
trashed
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
hard.
Hot take. Yeah.
No, I know it's not your fault. You got hired to do a job.
I
You were
did.
given an
doing
opportunity.
a
Sorry.
job.
Yeah. But that client, which is the Zellers family, which it was the first home that I built for his son, has given me so many amazing opportunities. And without that, like, where would I be? You know, where would the company be? Would Josh be sitting here? Would he not? Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's just whichever way you want your mind to think about it.
For
Sure.
sure.
I actually have a question when it comes to you talked about the level of expectation from these families, from these clients that you guys have. How do you, from a leadership perspective, pass that on to your subs and the people that work underneath you so that they understand, like, this isn't like the 1,500 or square foot place.
Yep.
This is the big kahuna here. We want to take care of these people.
Yeah. Well, and we do have sometimes we have two different subcontractor bases, right? Like you get into heavy commercial and then you get into high-end residential. But most of them have experience. So you set the expectation up front. I mean, a lot of them have worked with us before. They understand. And really it's our job as far as the service level to insulate the client from, you know, really the nuts and bolts and getting things done, because it's never perfect. I don't care who tells you that. Like it's never perfect. There's always challenges. There's always people not understanding what you're saying or choose to do it a different way, and that's your job to figure it out. But make it at the end of the day where it's not their issue. They shouldn't be worrying about that. That's what they hire us to do.
Yeah, I shouldn't
Sure.
even know about it.
Yeah. So it's our job to select the right people and the ones, and us to be organized enough to delineate what our expectation is with details and shop drawings and things like this. I don't want to say to figure it out for them, but you know, to
Just to set the expectation
Yeah,
through
set the-
samples, mock-ups, whatever we need to do to make sure that it's conveyed from top to bottom that this is what we are trying to purchase.
Yeah. Like we hardly ever, probably never, even in commercial, will you build a cabinet or cabinets without having an approved actual color sample. You know, so the client doesn't just come in and say, hey, I want Snow White Sherwin-Williams XYZ. That's what you're going to select. We're going to shoot it with the actual paint, and then you're going to look at it, sign off on it. You're going to keep a copy. I'm going to keep a copy. When it comes out, we're going to take the control sample versus what they spray and make sure it's right. So
Love
it's
it.
it's those
Love the
details there. Yeah.
it's those processes that help you.
I wish detail was a word that described it.
Yeah.
It's just not
It's
even.
not even
it
deep
doesn't-
enough, rich
It's not
enough,
even.
yeah.
No, it's not. I don't even know what the word would be, but
I mean,
it's
I think people pay
excruciating.
for it.
Yeah.
That's really, that level.
But you have to. I mean,
You
Yeah, and those things can add up over time too, like those little line items that might not seem like a big deal, but if somebody doesn't approve it and it's not in writing and whatever,
That's a
then
problem.
one cabinet happens, hit this project, and then this
Yeah.
thing's not right over here in the crown mold, and and
but it can be wildly. It can vary wildly because then you start dealing with naturals, natural woods, natural
Yes.
stones.
That
And then you get a
variations in there.
sample. Maybe the sample is yay big, and then what you're buying is 2 foot square or something, and now what you looked at was maybe the lightest portion of that tile or
doesn't have the same
darkest.
striations.
So what do you do in that situation?
I mean, you try. We've learned a lot,
Yeah.
so maybe now instead of ordering a sample, maybe we order a box.
Sure.
Hey, give me a box. Let's see how this comes.
Yeah.
How many darks are in a box? How many lights or whatever the
Genius,
case may
yeah.
be. And this way we can establish, maybe if it's that important, we can establish like a cull rate. Like, hey, if 50% of the pieces are coming in dark, we need to double our order.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's that critical, we have done that. In other cases, you're doing, we're getting a wood floor and we're seeing maybe the box comes random lengths. Well, we pull a box, figure out what those random lengths are, how many full pieces do we have, so we know how much to order, so we can get the pattern right. So it's just
Yeah. It's
yeah,
all those
it all
pieces.
goes
But
yeah, it's nuts.
And then I think the other cool thing too, I mean, the software and stuff helps and the technology. So that's a pretty interesting part of what we do is, I learned like with my grandfather, like I literally was using a water level. And all a water level is, I don't know if everybody knows, but it's a clear tube that you put water in and you put your thumbs on both ends and water will find its own level. So you can just transfer one mark over here when you get the water there and it'll tell you where it is over like the other side. And then we got to the point with bubble, like levels, like long pieces with a little, bubble in it. And then we went to lasers, and then now which lasers shoot literally a laser on the wall. And now we're getting into where we're scanning everything. We've used, I don't know if you've seen the videos or not, but we've used a field print, which we're super excited about that.
That sounds cool.
That basically we will scan a structure. So we get in, speaking of residential, the biggest challenge with residential is there's always assumptions when you demo where the actual walls are.
Like in a renovation application.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
and
thick the wall is.
how
and,
thick the wall is,
underneath
what's
it.
What's it
behind
concealing, right?
Is there floor-to-floor plumbing or electrical? So we'll demo it. Josh will scan it, and the scan gives millions and millions of points.
Yeah.
And then he cuts it and he overlays it on the floor plan so that if we have busts, if we've got pipes that don't move, if we've got walls out of square, which is a big one, because tolerances are so tight now, that he takes it, adjusts it, and then we can import it into a software, and literally this little robot comes and prints the plan on the ground.
Get out of
What?
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
That is so cool.
And what we're doing is we're really creating a layout file off that scan. So everything's located, lighting, walls, where the shower curb will be, center line of vanity, whatever information we have at hand at time of print to give the guys in the field all the information they need on the slab. So really, you don't even need the print at that
So
point.
does that cut your time down significantly?
So the advantage to it is you're finding out, and I'll get into modeling next, but you're finding out, like I said, construction is not a perfect,
Right.
There's always things that come up. You're taking 2D drawings, and very few people can take 2D drawings and get a 3D visual in their head. And it's
Right.
one of the biggest challenges with clients.
Yeah.
It's space perception, how big, the room says it's 12 by 12, but how big is that?
Tell me about it. I saw resale.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of these are vacant. And you're
Yes.
just like, okay,
Yep.
try.
Can I fit the bed in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what our goal is to find, I guess I'll call them problems, right? Find the problems soonest or as quick as you can, because then, for one, you have time to take that information and do something with it. Either it's ask the client or give it to the design professional or have a conversation with our subcontractor. Sometimes it could be pipe conflicts and whatever. Find it the soonest that we can and fix it. And inherently what that does, going back to your question, I believe it speeds you up.
Yeah.
I believe
it sounds like it does.
I believe it gives you a better product, right? Because when you get to the point and you have half of the room framed or the house framed, you're going to make a decision because you don't want to redo that whole house, the whole half of the house. You're going to make a decision that may not be the same decision that you would have had you known it before we started.
Right.
Of course,
So I
right.
think it's efficiency. I think it's quality. I think it's still being able to deliver them what they want and truly want.
Yeah.
And then going beyond that, when we start, we're moving into taking the 2D drawings and bringing them into 3 dimensions, which basically is a digital twin, which Josh will draw up. And that, I think, through all 3 of those, through that technology, is going to help us substantially.
Have you guys toyed around with, because it sounds like it kind of lives in the augmented reality space. Have you toyed around with any kind of applications that associate
goggles?
like meta goggles or
Yeah.
something like that?
I've got a friend who's a high-end builder in Sarasota, and he's tried those. And then Allen Concrete, I think they use it as well.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Put it on the client and they're like, oh, that's where my kitchen's going to be, and it looks like this.
I think
Yeah.
eventually that's going to, I mean,
Crazy.
It'll get there.
Wow.
It'll get there. I think right now it's probably reserved for, kind of the conceptualization of a space,
Sure.
what it's going to be when it's finished. What we're really doing with the model or any of these technical drawings that we're creating, it's looking at those details, like down to the fractions of an inch,
Yeah.
to make sure that when the steel comes, that it fits in, right
Right.
where it's supposed to go, or whatever that detail is. We're building the model in the office to try to forecast problems that'll happen in the field, so that hopefully they don't.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like measuring 10x, not just twice before you cut lines. So it's like,
Yeah.
this has got to be so, it sounds like it grabs every teeny detail.
Yeah, I mean, it's the analogy that we use in the office is kind of garbage in, garbage out in terms of the modeling. But as long as you're being precise in the computer, I mean, it's, as precise as you can be as far as the person putting the
That's
values
awesome.
in.
So you guys don't use water levels anymore?
No,
That's good.
No, and but it's good that you understand, because it really breaks it down to how it's supposed to work. So now if you come out in the field, you just see lasers. You don't even understand. You just got lasers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't understand, I feel like, and lasers scare me. I hate lasers because you have to have control points off a laser to make, it'll give you a straight line, but if it'll give you a crooked straight line too.
Right.
Which is an issue.
Yeah.
So you have to understand plumb, level, and square to set up a laser, like in some applications. But
but the site print is pretty foolproof, which we're very excited about.
That's
that
awesome.
is
Because
really
that just
cool.
prints it, and there's not much room for error or ambiguity there.
Yeah. I'm going to change gears here just a little bit. Our audience loves, who doesn't love food? We love to, name drop some of our favorite places in town, give them a little shout out. I know
Oh, okay.
you're a fan of Spanky's.
Yeah, I love Spanky's.
Like Brian.
Yeah.
Brian was
Yeah, Spanky's
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, it's in that, and I put Mickle Bob's, but like
Mickle Bob's.
to me, I think it's a nostalgia thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I've got memories of, our office is really close to that and has been for years and years, but it just brings me back, like especially Spanky's and Mickle Bob's for that point. Like it hasn't changed in forever. And the food's solid, it's good, it's local, which I'm a big proponent of, not against, chains or whatever, but
Well, Mickle Bob's growing up was so big, like everyone knew it here, that I thought it was a chain.
right.
Still, I mean, there's several things in town that I made that mistake as a kid, but
Well,
I thought
their
for
cups
sure,
do a good job of kind of portraying that,
right? But I'm like,
from a marketing perspective.
but everyone knew what Mickle Bob's was, so it was like, oh, it's like, Checkers or Wendy's. Like it was just like another, and not to, that makes it sound like fast food. They're not, but that was my perception as a kid.
Yeah.
But
For
that
what
was
it's
also
worth.
it was also part of the time. We didn't,
Yeah.
especially for you guys in Naples. The chains weren't really a thing.
We didn't really have, no. Actually, we only had Checkers and Wendy's. No.
Yeah.
And I saw Fuse.
Yeah, I put a
Fuse
different
yeah.
one.
Well,
For
see, I
lunch.
thought it said lunch. Did
It
it
did
say
say
lunch?
lunch.
It did, but
Okay. For
either
lunch, Tommy.
way,
Because you
For
didn't give
lunch.
me an opportunity for dinner.
I gotta change. I gotta change
Here's your
that.
opportunity, Tommy. Let's
Well,
talk dinner.
I gotta change a lot on there.
I went
but-
Fuse for lunch because one, I felt like it's kind of a hidden gem for lunch,
Oh, I haven't been there. I was just there on Friday.
but they
Love
do
Monica.
barbecue, and I think it's the BCT. It's like a brisket, tomato, cheese sandwich. It'll put you to sleep, but
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Fuse Barbecue. We may have Monica and her husband on.
You should.
Husband and wife.
Yeah,
They're
they're
awesome.
awesome.
My
Yeah.
parents love Monica. I finally went to the bar with them, and she's great. Her cocktails are crazy. And then we got a couple of dishes, and I thought like, oh, this is gonna be, a light dinner.
Yeah, right.
It's very rich and very delicious. And I think my dad said when we ordered dessert, he's like, if I have another bite, I'm going to die. Or he said something. But it's so flavorful. I think it's one
it's so
of
good.
the hidden gems left.
Greg makes his own pickles, and that with the sandwich it's perfect.
It's so special.
We got to go there.
Make your own pickles is.
Yeah.
You've never been there?
I
don't know if you have.
could write a book of the places I haven't been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I go there all the time.
But I hope to write something down that maybe you guys hadn't been to for lunch. So
Well, and I haven't been there for lunch.
perfect.
But
there you go.
it's also one of the hidden gems. Sometimes I debate bringing up the hidden gems because then
you're
words
like-
yeah.
Whistle blowing on all the great spots.
Yeah. No, those are three great ones. What do you guys like to do for fun outside of construction and
I do
eating.
I do a lot of kids things.
Oh, yeah,
my
kids
my
stuff.
children are very young, like
Yeah.
3 and not quite a year. So I do a lot of kids things,
Yeah.
but I try to get outside. Anything outdoors, I'm game for
yeah,
if I can. But it's
involved with the Rotary?
involved with Rotary. Yeah, that keeps me pretty busy too.
Yeah,
That's a fun group.
yeah, it is.
But yeah, those work, kids, Rotary.
What's a family favorite for your kids? You guys find yourself going to a lot.
My son's 3, so big city kids. He's a huge fan.
Yeah.
But he's pretty big eater, so he's always a big fan of a restaurant. Food and Thought too by our house.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Is a classic. Yeah, anything like that. We do swim school every week, so he likes to swim. Parks, Collier County does a pretty good job with the parks, so
Yeah.
we exploit those things. But
Yeah, and family friends' houses, pool
yeah,
parties.
well, and you know where we live, so
Yeah,
it's
and
a
Derby's
party.
coming up. So
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see you soon.
In Victoria Park, it's always a party, so
Always
Big
a
house.
party.
Yeah.
we're never short of anything to do.
And what about you? What do you like to do for fun?
It just seems like really consumed with kids activities.
Yeah.
I think my kids are in sports now, so it's between softball and volleyball and baseball, plays and things like that. But I don't know. I always enjoyed to go fishing. But I sold my boat, so
Dang.
yeah, I know. But that was a big part. That was a big part of my life growing up. Obviously there wasn't a whole lot to do in Naples back then, so outdoor sports were good. Yeah, that's kind of my thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like we could talk about so many different things. Still want to hear what you thought about Naples and what it's missing and stuff, but I don't even know what time it is.
We're over an hour.
We're over an hour.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I want to hear, you had a really good point in your intake
Sure.
form about Naples and we know all the things we love and everybody loves Naples, but there's things that we're lacking here in the community. So I wanted to hear that from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a question that I put some thought into, and I'm not so sure that I wrote it as well as I thought about it. But, essentially it's just if the development in Collier County, which is a very large county by land area, if we are going to grow and increase by 50% or whatever the projections are, if that density is going to happen, then I just, would plead for some open-mindedness from developers and people with, making the decisions that development is thought out in the way that we want it to exist. Everybody complains about traffic, but it's like, what are we going to do to develop a system that works to maybe mitigate some of that traffic?
Mm-hmm.
All of our service people in the construction business most of them are coming from Lee County.
That's right.
They're traveling every day.
And like the edges of Lee County.
The edges of
almost
Lee
to
County,
Manatee.
Lehigh,
Or what?
Punta Gorda.
North
Yeah.
Fort Myers, a
Charlotte.
lot.
One of our
Charlotte,
one of our
excuse me.
best cabinet people is from Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
so it's just we need industrial zones in Collier County where we can give these service businesses a place to occupy and reside to where they're not having to rely on the interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of buzzwords for it, new urbanism, 15-minute cities. There's a lot of things that get thrown around, and they're probably controversial, but I think at the end of the day, it's just putting businesses and people in places where they're needed.
Right.
This is kind of the
And you
takeaway.
serve the community, in the workforce on a regular basis. Yeah. Do you have any ideas specific to, your crew and what you're in a perfect scenario? What would you do?
Well, again, I think it has to start from a planning perspective, and it has to start second to that from the developer's perspective, the people putting the money in. They have to be, oftentimes you see a new development come in and it looks very much like Coconut Point. It's a parking lot and it's an island of buildings in the center.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to you kind of walking in, but it's like, we need to invert that and let's design a new downtown.
Yeah.
Like small gridded streets, sidewalks, like buildings on the street, and maybe no parking. And let that come in as it becomes successful.
Yeah.
But instead we develop in the opposite, which I just think could be different.
And then everything's spread out, and then you have to get in a car to go anywhere, and that's what
Right.
creates the traffic.
And it's a very Florida
especially
thing.
especially
Yeah.
Naples though.
It's a very Florida thing. And without, really successful infrastructure with public transportation, I don't know how successful it can be because
Yeah.
we're so used to the automobile. But I guess if I had a utopia, rose-colored glasses, that's the way I would see it.
Yeah. Well, even like the BERT,
I was going to bring that up. Is that something that
That's
you guys
super
considered when it
cool.
came to NH2 plannings? Or that was the property that existed for your client.
I
but,
love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it reminds me of the Beltway in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The High Line in New York City.
Yes.
It could be so cool to activate this pedestrian bike.
I think people would use
path.
I mean, I really think people would use it, whether it's on the to and from work or for leisure.
Oh, it's amazing. Like it's
Yeah.
there's so many people that enjoy running, walking, biking, cycling, that it just gives a safe place for people to do those activities. The more and more we develop, the busier and busier the streets are. You read about it all the time, like these cycling groups. Somebody gets hit. Now you've got e-bikes, you've got scooters, you've got all of these things. Like, it would be great to have a place, and then it connects, which I'm super big for, and we kind of alluded to it, is like pedestrian activation. When you can get from one place to another by foot or by bike or whatever, because safely, yeah, for sure. Because traffic is getting so much more dense. Our density is increasing, like it just is.
Yeah.
But that would be amazing if you could take one place from like Naples and go all the way. I don't even know how far it's like proposed to go now, like Tampa or something crazy. Right?
Well, long term, yeah, but this current corridor is to Estero Parkway.
Which is
it's perfect.
Fabulous.
Wiggins past to Estero
Right.
Parkway.
I mean, as long as
Fabulous.
I think I said Beltway in Atlanta, but I think it's Beltline. Are you familiar at all with that?
I know
Yeah.
exactly what it meant.
Yeah.
Love
So
Beltline.
it connects parks, it
yeah.
connects commercial spaces, workspace, retail centers. I mean, it connects everything in the city of Atlanta for the pedestrian, and it's super cool. And they do events and runs and all sorts of things, but it gives you the opportunity to jump on it and jump off, go to dinner, coffee,
right.
whatever it is, and do something different. And I think locally we have something very close to that down by the Conservancy and the airport.
Baker Park,
Oh
Greenway.
yeah,
Park
Baker
and all
Park
that.
Greenway.
But there's no
yeah.
commercial activation.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
So
Right. It's a fabulous, place to, and great, plenty of parking, which
it's
is great.
awesome. I mean, everything about it is awesome.
And events there. Canoe races are going to take
Yeah.
place there again this year.
But how cool would it be if you had like 3 restaurants along the way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Beltline. I think there's a citation somewhere that I read that was over $1 billion of economic growth around that.
Yeah, it doesn't
Since being
surprise me.
built. Yeah.
And a lot of their stuff in Atlanta, which they had the advantage of being an older city, but a lot of it was adaptive reuse. So they
Sure.
took these really cool industrial spaces and turn them into something really different and fun. So maybe not so much that advantage here because we're such a new area.
Yeah.
But there's still something to be cool that can be done with that bird
I think
trail.
so. It's like Athens, Georgia. Go Dogs. Had to say it. Sorry. That's the,
had to get it in there.
Had to. I don't know if you guys have been, but it's a really cool place.
It's
And
beautiful.
My wife lived there.
Did she?
She did, yeah.
Did she go to Georgia?
No, she after grad school. Yeah.
Okay.
I figured you didn't know that.
Is so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
no.
it was a super cool city.
Yeah, but they took all those old, gas station and just made the coolest.
Creature Comforts Brewery
yes.
took over that tire shop or whatever it was.
It's
super
just the
cool.
coolest. Yeah, that reuse.
Adaptive reuse. Yeah.
Adaptive reuse.
It goes back to opportunity, right?
Yeah. But Burt Trail, I mean, and you can incorporate a lot of running events, cycling events, which there's a lot of that in our community. And especially cycling, it's tough to find a place that you can go that you feel safe, as far as road cycling.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have all kinds of opportunities there. It would just be amazing.
Yeah. We're ready for it. I mean, we got to get Deb back on for an update.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I know, because they just
We
got
had her
something
on.
big passed,
They
right?
got approved to
From
go to
Bonita?
a vote for the citizens of Bonita, I believe, to approve purchasing it via some tax dollars. So that vote is on August 18th, I believe, is the date.
Okay.
And we're encouraging, Bonita voters to vote yes.
And Collier already has, or they already approved it,
I think they're already approved.
I think they're earmarked, and they're doing the veterans extension,
Yes.
which I think will kind of be the terminus of it, right?
Yeah.
it's extremely exciting to me. I think it's really cool.
I love it. We loved having you on. I
thank
could
you.
just talk to you forever about all the things.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. How can people find you on, social? I know your socials, but tell our audience kind of.
Yeah, social media, Instagram's always best. I think it's just Houchin Construction Inc. And then as far as at the office, you can email me at hello@houchinconstruction.com.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
probably the
Or
best.
call the office.
Or call it. But,
You can Google Houchin Construction.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. They're going to pop up.
but
and you'll
hello
see
will
them.
come to my inbox, so I'll see it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, get you a space, guys. There's a spot in Bonita, and it's got some tall ceilings, so
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, we want a really cool restaurant owner, small but crafty, and that's really what we're looking for.
You hear that, Brandon and Caitlin?
I was going to say,
you hear
we've
that?
already reached
Shoes?
out to Brandon and Caitlin Shoe.
Which one?
That's
They have Bohemian
downtown coffee in your hand.
Oh yeah. Well, they have
Canary Club.
but they had a lot. They have Canary
They have
Club, the coffee, Bohemian, and then I heard
All
they're
the
doing
good
one
Building
at
the Empire.
Imperial 41.
Yeah. And they're doing one right next to
Witchcraft sandwiches.
the
Shout
coffee
out.
shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are the food
Yeah.
of downtown. I mean,
Yeah, they need to.
You never
we need to
know, they might be-
connect.
Keep
Yeah.
extending further, guys.
Yes.
This
I
is a
know.
call out. This is a call
yeah,
out.
that's a direct call.
Somebody
out.
with good vision that could work in that space.
Yeah.
Is what we're really
with all the
hunting
cool
for.
tenants. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
helps
Cool.
the tenants, helps them. So
Well,
for
thank you
sure.
again for being on.
yeah,
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Take care.